Hi guys, and welcome to Peugeot. Today in this video I will at long last show you how to install a reverse camera on the RCZ. So please bear in mind that even though I will show the installation process for the RCZ, the camera itself is not specific to Peugeot or to RCZ. It is just a standard reverse camera that I bought online, and you can find the link to it in the description box. However, if you don't have a color screen auto radio yet in your RCZ installed and you would like to know how to install that, how to set that up, click on this video and watch that. The second part that is worth mentioning is that you'll see that the diffuser of the car where we'll install a reverse camera is not the standard Peugeot diffuser anymore. So since I changed the exhaust some time ago, I also changed the diffuser that went with it. However, the part that will come off, the centerpiece of the diffuser, is very similar to the original diffuser, so it won't really affect you if you still have the original diffuser, and will follow my guide to install it on your RCZ. So with that said, let's waste no more time and have a look at the camera first and all the cables and see what cable goes where and how you should label it before you install it.
Alright, so let's have a look at the camera and the entire cable harness that comes with it. So first of all, you have the camera itself that's going to be installed in the rear on the diffuser in my case. And then you have those two cables that will be connected to the reverse white light, to the positive of the reverse white light. So since we have two reverse lamps on the RCZ, you'll be able to connect one on each positive cable of the reverse light. Then next is the ground, the cable that will have to be grounded. So we'll see, I'll just find a place on the chassis where I can connect this cable to. So these are the cable that will be installed and clipped in the rear of the car. And then there's a couple of cables that need to connect this one to the actual auto radio. So we have this yellow plug, which is the reverse camera in that goes into it, will do the actual video signal, and it will go into another yellow plug coming out of the auto radio. So you'll just connect it to the two yellow ones where you can see it's all labeled camera in. And then at last the reverse signal, which will go onto the main harness of the auto radio. You'll also see a cable where it says reverse, so you'll have just have to connect it there. And lastly, we need a set of cable clips in order to connect all these cables together. These cable clips basically just have the advantage that you don't need to cut anything, you don't need to solder any cables or open any of the isolation material and the plastic isolation of the cable. So you just put them in and connect it to cables and you're done. So here's one top tip I can give you. So in order for you to make it easy for yourselves later when you connect all those cables and you know exactly what cable needs to be connected to what other cable, just lay it out like you have it in here and label all cable ends with the respective connection. So when you after that take it to the car and connect it to the cables, you know exactly which cable has to be connected to what other end. So before we start the installation, let's have a look at all the tools we need. A ruler, then a set of pliers, so different sizes of different types of pliers in order to clip the cables together, to cut the cables, to take the isolation off. Then we'll have a plastic tool, kind of a plastic knife in order to guide the cable through the various parts of the inside of the car. Then also a long cable in order to guide the actual cables from the back towards the front and get them through various parts of the inside of the car. A 10mm wrench, which I will be using for attaching the ground cable to the ground. Some Loctite, and for that also a soldering tool with the tin, and also some goggles to protect my eyes. What I will also need is a driller in order to drill a hole into the diffuser and install the camera. And of course we'll also need two Torx screwdrivers, a T20, a T30, and an adjustable wrench. Alright, so let's get the installation started in the back of the car. First of all, if you're just behind the diffuser, you need to disassemble the rear part, the middle part of the diffuser by unscrewing the two T30 screws that are holding this back plate. Then you remove it, and then you can access the light block with the reverse lights and the fog lights. Then you have access to the two clips which hold the entire light block in. Just turn it counterclockwise 90 degrees and you can pull it out. So for the ease of installation, I would suggest to remove the entire block. Just unclip the top connector and take it out, so you can actually put the entire light block on the bench and connect all the cables first before installing it then. Now you can start by connecting the two reverse positive cables to the respective reserve positive cables on the block. Just take one cable, take one clip and insert the cables. You have like two little tunnels in each of those clips. Just insert one cable into one tunnel, the other cable that needs to be connected to that into the other tunnel, and then just close those clips and press them with the pliers. So now we first insert the one cable on the left and then do the same thing on the right side, or either way. Just make sure that you have the reverse positive cable on connected with those cables that you have labeled the same way in the first place. Now I'm going to take the ground cable and prepare it for the installation onto the chassis of the car. So for that, all you have to do is to remove some insulating rubber from the ground cable. So you have some cable free to wrap it around the washer, and then you can solder it on the washer, which you can then connect to the chassis of the car. And obviously don't forget to tighten it down with a nut. So before we go any further and guide the cable through the interior of the car, I'm just gonna connect the front cables to the actual autoradio just to do a quick function check and see if it actually works. Take the yellow camera plug and connect it to the respective yellow camera in, and then take the reverse cable that's on the other, that's the only cable that's left to be connected, and connect it to the brown reverse cable of the main harness of the autoradio. It should also be labeled with a reverse label, and just take another plastic clip to connect those two cables, and then you should be done with the installation, at least with the cable installation. Now get in, start the car, and start the autoradio. It should come on automatically, and just put the car in reverse, and then you'll see if the camera comes on. Well, you succeeded, it's working, everything's connected correctly. And you can now disconnect the front cables, the ones that are connected to the autoradio, in order to guide the cable through the actual interior, which is what we're going to see now. Alright, so now just take the trunk floor out. So lift it in the back and gently pull it out, and it will come out very easily. So the reason being is that we're going to guide the cables behind the diffuser up to the side, on the left side basically, because the entire cable harness that is going into the rear of the car is guided through the left side. So really just do take your time to do this correctly, because you're gonna have to switch between putting the cable in from above and then lying under the car to attach the cables, and then guide them through behind the diffuser to make sure that they're not caught up in the exhaust. So now we have to bring the cable from the trunk into the front of the car, so we can lower the backrest of the rear seats, and then with the plastic tool just basically guide the cable behind the side cover of the trunk and hide it behind it, underneath it, and just guide it into the front, and just bring all the cables into the front of the car, into the inside of the cabin. Now just continue the same way. We basically just put the cables underneath all the plastic panels that go from the back seat in towards the dashboard of the car. So you don't have to unscrew anything, just lift them slightly with the plastic clip and put the cable underneath it until you get all the way up to the dashboard of the car. And once you've reached the dashboard of the car, you basically just have to unclip the dashboard cover, the lower dashboard cover, so you can put the cable behind that one, and then you can bring it all the way over to the center console and follow the panels where two panels are connected in the middle. We can basically just lift the upper part of this and finally bring the cable set into the interior of the center console. So depending on how you get on, you might need to use the guiding cable one more time just to put it through and to connect the cable and to put it from the driver's side into the center console. Now all that's left to do to hide all the cables is to reinstall the lower part of the dashboard on the driver's side, and just put the cable behind this cover and reinsert the clips that go with them, and you'll be done with that. So the only part that's left for us to do is to prepare the center part of the diffuser to accommodate the camera. So I'll tape the rear part with some masking tape so I can draw a line, draw the center line and find the exact center where I want to place the camera, and then draw a circle of the diameter of the screw that will actually go through this part in order to hold the camera in place, and take the drill and drill it out, and just try and drill as much out as you need to push the camera through, but be careful not to make too big of a hole so that you would see a gap when the camera is inserted into the diffuser. Once you're done with that, just secure the camera with the nut that goes into the back, bolt it on tightly, not too firm but tight, and then you can proceed and reinstall everything into the back. So basically it's just the reverse order of when we disassembled the entire backlight. The back cluster first, and then the cover plate, and you're done. Look at the end result. Doesn't it look awesome? I mean, from a distance it almost looks like it's part of the diffuser. It's like one of the fins that are within the diffuser.
Alright guys, so this is how you install a reverse camera on the RCZ or on other cars with the same type of connections. So thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video, leave a comment if you have questions or other comments, or also go on my Facebook page where you can ask questions or leave comments there, or upload your own videos and your own pictures about RCZs or whatever car you want to share with and show us. With that said, as always, until next time.